for YouTube, Ronin Kaze. Alright, so at the beginning, let's see how the rest of it goes. Well, I was hoping not to have any of those, but there's one. I'm in Fallout 76. When I first heard the Tenacious D song Tribute, I didn't get it. I'm not a lyrics guy. Excuse me. Don't listen really to lyrics. In Fallout 76, I appreciate that I'm always not going to have like realistic falling damage. You know, lets me get down from these places, saves time. If you could like, subscribe, unsubscribe, resubscribe. If you could share this with your friends, I'd appreciate it if you think it's worthwhile. And if you really want to help me out, you could give me a cup of coffee if you'd like with the QR code, but you don't have to. So Tenacious D had this song called Tribute, and it was a good song, but it wasn't the real song. It's just a song about a song. It's a tribute to that song. So this video isn't about Linux Mint, Lubuntu, and Zorin OS. It's a video about that video that's coming. I'll tell you a couple things. So a lot of the channel, I'm using VirtualBox, that's the name of it, to run my virtual machines. About a week ago, 10 days ago, Cachy had a really big update. And predictably, it broke my VirtualBox. Well, today, out came a patch, and it fixed it. It was something about kernel headers or something, like way beyond my pay grade, right, to figure it out. And I went online to see if people talked about it. I went to the forum to see if people talked about it. These AI, right? So the other thing in this channel is look at AI. Constantly a problem, AI. We want AI so much, but look, it's constantly left to its own devices. It tries to kill us. So VirtualBox worked today. I put QEMU, however you pronounce that, and Virt Manager and did all that stuff. And that begot a bunch of different problems. Here's what I'm going to tell you to do. CachyOS, they're going to fix it. If I would just stay tight, it's like 10 days. I couldn't do that content. Big whoop. It illustrates the point that sometimes things are going to change it, but they ended up fixing it. So that's what's important about having an active developers doing it. And CachyOS is great, I think. Hopefully this helps them with the distro. But why did I pick those three OS operating systems, those distros? Well, I think this is unarguable that for someone coming from Windows, if they want a completely managed, curated existence, you would pick Ubuntu because it's the biggest. It has the most kind of support. If you search for things, it's always going to tell you how to do this in Debian or Ubuntu. These three OSs, distros, are based on Ubuntu. In looking at CachyOS, I found out, it doesn't really support every single processor that's out there, like even the Wayback Machine. And if you have light resources, maybe you only have 4 gigabytes. So I have Lubuntu in there for the light end. I have Linux Mint because it's the most popular of those. And I have Zorin OS because this is apparently the one that 1 million people are switching to. So I'm going to run those. And here's what the challenge is going to be. I'm going to put them on a virtual machine, give them 6 to 8 processors, give them 12 gigabytes of RAM, give them a 25 gigabyte hard drive. Then I'm going to put Steam on there, and I'm going to try to play old Steam games like Command and Conquer, Red Alert, Wasteland, those kind of games. I don't know how. Why do I pick those games? Because the proof is to prove that Steam works and it can run old DOS games or old Windows games. I'm virtualizing that, so it doesn't, the virtualization doesn't have the kind of graphics cards you need to run modern games. So in the course of this, I'll try to find out what's the highest game I can run. And then we'll go from there. And then I'll show you how those three act, what the space size is and everything, and maybe some performance. Because not everyone is going to want CachyOS, even though it's the best. You might not want it. So I'm doing you a disservice if I don't load those up. I kind of gave you comparisons before about Linux. There's no big difference. There is really no big difference between Linux except the Windows managers. These three have 3 different window managers. So it'll give you an idea. I'm going to struggle with that because I know what I'm doing in KDE. Now my argument to you is, oh, just pick KDE because you... So I'm going to struggle when I pick these other things. Lubuntu has an older version. Cinnamon on Linux Mint is a little bit newer version of the older version of how you have the lower left corner. You hit a button and uploads your menus. And then there's Cosmic, which is on Zorin, I think. And then we'll see how that goes. And we'll do a little video on that. I repost daily, so you'll get some comparisons daily. What I found in general when I'm putting any of these non-gaming distributions, it's a pain in the butt to get Steam to run and to get OBS to run. Maybe OBS won't have a problem because this is Ubuntu. And we'll see. And like I told you, Fallout 76 has now become my club sandwich. You have to see the last video to understand with that. The great thing about Fallout 76, I might have said Fallout 3. The great thing about Fallout 76 is that it's an RPG, which I get some progression on what I'm doing. I think I make level 60. This is a character. This is another nice thing about this game. I got so much in, let me see if it says it up there, how much in-game currency I got. I don't know, somewhere it says it. I had so much in-game currency, I could just make my character go to level 50. So I made a new character, went to level 50, and I've done 10 levels on it now. So now I'm like, quote-unquote, level 60. One of the itches these kind of games scratch is that it's a survival game, so I have to drink, and I'm constantly worrying about drinking and eating and all that stuff. But also my armor is getting degraded. But what I found is it's not as important. You know, if I worry about it, then, why am I worrying about it? It's a game. So part of this is, I love these games, but part of it is you have to kind of put these things in perspective. For example, the analogy I always give, are you a person, when you have a map and the map is blacked out, are you a completist and you got to get every single spot of the black off your map before you go to the next level? Or do you just do what you want to do and leave, or do you just take the shortest route for everything? The cats and Roxy. I'm going to tell you a quick funny story that happened to me last night at 12:30. So, for whatever reason, I had an old bottle of catnip that I had moved to throw away. And around 12:30, there's a lot of commotion near Roxy's cage. And the cats are, getting up on the cage and trying to get in there, and she's barking like now. And I tell her to be quiet. And then finally I get up and put a light over there. The cats are staring into the cage. Roxy leaves the cage. One of them goes in there, and that's like, I don't want the cats to get used to going into Roxy's cage. Right? It upsets the order. For those of you I just made a face. Okay. What had happened was Roxy had pulled this catnip bottle out of the garbage, had chewed it open, it had spilt over. The cats are obviously drawn to the catnip. It's old. I don't know why it still has its potency, but it does. Roxy's like high on catnip, whatever that does to a little toy poodle. So like after I calmed everyone down, she's like all spastic and moving around. And so I let her outside, and she was outside, and there's a winter storm that hit last night. The other thing I want to show you, I almost gave you a division video with the snow because it's cold in Michigan right now, YouTube. It's going to be cold this week. Today, it's one of those wind chill is 0. I never thought in my life I'd have to worry about salt. Sometimes where you have water, like near the Great Lakes, you don't worry about salt contaminating your groundwater because you just have so much fresh water, right? We don't think about it. Like out west, they use dirt instead of salt. You have to worry some salt won't work. So I have salt that works down to -15, but like you could have bought salt that doesn't work when it's like below 20. And usually on the highways, I don't think the state or the city or the county buys salt that goes below 20 anymore because they don't want to spend the money, I think. So when I have to drive into work, you know, if it's 20 or below, I was like, oh gosh, it's going to be one of those mornings. And there's people spun out in the ditch on the way to work, tons of them. I kind of live in the country-ish and then eventually gets into the city. I have a Quest, but it's not the right Quest. The other thing about Fallout 76, it just doesn't do the Quest immediately where you are. You have to go out a little bit to the Quest. So you're going to see me check the map, and then I'll highlight the Quest spot I got to go. But I got to kill 3 of these robots, and I'm not advancing the Quest. So now I'm going to try to go up on the top here. I'm looking for exterior staircase, but then I see right there, there's an interior staircase. Because here's what's nice about the game, because that's how it is in the real world. It's like that in the game. So I'm going to run Linux Mint, Lubuntu, and Zorin OS. I had to remember. I won't really be able to play as many games. I'm going to try to play the highest level game that I can. Now, on my Lubuntu install, I took the lightest install I could take. Didn't install any extra programs, so I'm going to have to install all the programs I want. This is simulating someone that has a very old computer. The Linux Mint is what the Linux Mint is, and the Zorin OS I haven't installed on a virtual machine yet. I hope you enjoyed some of the underground gaming in the Division. That is a great module of that game. It's not the same. The quests are like 1 of 8 quests, so you're getting a certain type of quest, which has a certain type of strategy to do it, but the maps are relatively different. You can't just memorize it. There I'm looking at, okay, ooh, I never want to claim a workshop because I'm adverse to PvP. You could claim the workshop and get all the stuff from there. Then I go, oh, let me get that. So that's the quest I'm going to go get. How hard would it be to partition my disk and run Linux? Not going to do it. I could maybe do that on my other computers. I told you I was going to run Fallout 76 on the ASUS. Maybe the ASUS I'll install with, maybe that's where I'll install the Linux Mint. I'll put them all on there. It's a pain in the butt in one sense, but I'll give you a better ideal, and I can just keep wiping that drive. What I didn't realize when I first got into this Linux thing, I was like, I'm going to install every window manager, and I'm going to install all these. And what it does is it just messes everything up. I'm in a small mess now. It'll work itself out, but I'm in a small mess now. When my VirtualBox died, then I tried to do something, then I tried to do something, and now I'm in where I got to learn more commands. But that's how I think you're going to learn Linux. You're not going to learn Linux by taking an all-night course. Take my Linux course, YouTube. You're going to learn it when you have specific things that you want to do. Like, how do I uninstall? How do I forcibly uninstall something? But what you have to ask yourself. So then Linux warned me and said, you could do that, but you might screw up your whole system. So then I backed off that. Now here's one of these robots I have to kill. I'm shooting, this is a pistol I've jazzed up, the 308. It's a rifle that's been barrel short to do a pistol. And so I'm you know, not making it at the long range. I'm close enough now that I'll kill it. There we go. So I eventually went in there and realized that when I had this VirtualBox problem, I tried to do another solution. That solution locked some of the things. So then I had to go in that software. I kept trying to uninstall it, couldn't uninstall it. And eventually I opened up the software and found that, you know, I had made a directory available to Virt Manager, and then it kind of locked it, and then I just deleted it from there, the things I wanted to delete. And this is my impatience, right? I knew they're going to fix VirtualBox. It just wasn't going fast enough for Ronin Kaze. Look at that miss. How close am I? I'm like 49. How close now? There we go. So that's the plan. So I'm thinking about what I'm going to do. I'm lazy. I don't want to keep rewriting the USB. Maybe I'll do that though, and show you guys that. Part of the problem with all this installing and uninstalling, what's great about installing it in a virtual machine now is I can OBS, I can record all that. I can't record that on the machine because I got to install the operating system first for me to install it. I could do something like record me installing on the virtual machine, and then it's not the same. And I'm going to tell you this, installing it in real life is always a little bit different than the virtual machine. Sometimes the virtual machines don't work, and then sometimes the machine doesn't work. Like I told you, my Dell Alienware 3 is really finicky. I start playing Ashes of Creation again. I moved to another server. There's a person that I know that plays that game, so I'm playing that game. I'm trying to catch up to them. I think I told you that the cap's at level 25, so I got like a level 11. I'm grinding in that area that I did a couple videos from. So I'm not going to show you that stuff again, but I'm grinding that character up and not recording it. And so you might see some old-timey games, and that's going to be to play games like on, well, maybe not. Maybe I'm going to just, as I think about it, I should probably install it on that, my ASUS VT502, the one with the 6700 HQ processor and a NVIDIA 970M. And we'll see how that goes. That ran game's okay. So YouTube, this is Ronin Kaze. This is a tribute to the video I'm going to be doing. Ronin Kaze out.